Hey, so I'm back. I had to title the live. So I want to talk about fibroid don'ts today. I'm a little bit late. I had a meeting with the Toss About Your Womb ladies. We had an amazing session today. So we meet every Monday, okay? And it's absolutely amazing. And they got so much out of it, and I was really happy about that. So been super busy. So yes, hopefully you guys can, I can finally see like people coming in now, okay? Before, unfortunately, I would not see people popping up, so I can see questions. You guys have questions, so that's good. Okay, so we're gonna talk about fibroid don'ts. We're gonna talk about fibroid don'ts, the worst advice for fibroids. Very common advice as well that a lot of women do get. And even on my fibroid journey, when I was, going through the battle with fibroids, these are things that people told me that wasn't the best advice. So I'm here to share as a holistic women wellness specialist that helps women who have reproductive health issues such as fibroids engage in everyday healthy habits and also get to the root cause of the problem, okay? And that is physically when it comes to fibroids and endometriosis, ovarian cysts, and also emotionally and spiritually as well. Because when we have these things, when we have things like fibroids, when we have endometriosis, anything affecting the womb, ladies, this is more than just physical, okay? And I'm going to explain that. So very important. So if you know somebody that has fibroids, share this live with them. Again, we are experiencing a fibroid epidemic. There are so many women, okay, that finding out every single day that they have fibroids. And also there's so many women as well that are battling with fibroids. It's an epidemic. Like, even if you're a man watching this, it could be your sister, it could be your girlfriend, it could be a friend, right? Or if you are a woman watching this, send this to at least 5 women that have fibroids. Very important, okay? So definitely want this to be interactive. You guys can ask questions as well. And so just in case you guys didn't know, I'm currently having a Black Friday sale that's gonna end at midnight. But one of the services on sale is our 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course. That is people have been buying that up, especially today because it's the last day. And that also has a lot of testimonials for women who have literally shrunk their fibroids and also dissolved their fibroids and made their cycles more tolerable and a lot better as well, which is really important because, again, when we're dealing with, heavy cycles and painful cycles, this is a hormonal imbalance. And this is one of the results of, one of the symptoms a lot of times of fibroids. And it really gets in the way of, as women, our everyday life. So we have to make sure that we balance the hormones. When we're healing the body, you're gonna see your cycles change, okay? Get a lot better and more manageable. That's very important, okay? So if you're watching this and you're not on my email list, make sure you get on my email list, first of all, okay? You can just click the link in my bio to get on my email list. But let's talk about fibroid don'ts. And I definitely, like I said, want this to be interactive. I'm gonna scroll up to make sure I don't miss any comment. Thank you. Thank you. But anyway, I wanna make sure that I address all aspects of fibroids when it comes to fibroid don'ts. So this is really important. So let's talk about also looking for treatment options, right? When we have fibroids, when a woman has encountered fibroids, the first thing that she's going, for the most part, is going to do is, her doctor's going to tell her she has fibroids. She's going to look for options. What can she do to get these things taken out for the most part, for most women, right? And this is where we kind of go wrong because most women are not examining, okay, where did they come from? Like, why did this fibroids develop in my body? Or even cysts, right? Or endometrial tissue. How did these things develop in my body? Why? It's just that, okay, I have fibroids and, I want to look for treatment options to get rid of them. And, looking back, I didn't want to get rid of them at first because I was scared of surgery at first, but ended up having surgery, but then they ended up coming back. So when we look for treatment options and we don't get to the root cause of the problem, what happens is that these things continuously develop again, right? So you have to think back to what was going on in your life when you developed fibroids. That's how we can kind of circle back to see, okay, what triggered these fibroids to grow? And if a doctor is telling you, and that's going to be my next thing, it's genetic, that's too surface level, right? We got to do some more digging, right? Because was it from a stressful period in your life, right? Was it from a period in your life that you were neglecting your body, yourself? Was it from maybe a bad relationship, or you were having a hard time in school? or a divorce, or what was going on in your life, or a death in your family, right? What was going on in your life? And typically, when I help women, they go back, they can pinpoint, okay, yeah, this is a stressful period. I definitely was not taking care of myself at this point. I was neglecting my body, and myself, and just on autopilot, trying to get through life. And this is why, this is what triggers hormonal imbalances in our body that provides the environment for fibroids to grow. Okay, so this is very common with women who develop fibroids or any other reproductive health issue. Okay, so instead of, you want to kind of circle back. Okay, what were you in? What was your mindset in? Where was your mind at? Right? A lot of times when we're going through a difficult time, right? Our mind is, we're not thinking positive thoughts, right? We're not, we may be dealing with trauma from an event that happened before in the past, something like that. Like, what was going on in your life? Because as women, we store our emotions in our womb, okay? In our womb space, we are incubators. So there is deeper than just there's these fibroids in my womb, right? It's deeper than that. These fibroids represent something, right? That, pain, could be trauma, it could be unfulfillment. Like, it's a lot deeper. It's not just physical. And that's where a lot of women get it wrong, because they're looking at it as physical, right? Just physical. There's a spiritual reason for every health issue, okay? And this is the part people really don't want to really deal with, right? And I get it. But because, again, we're thought to think of our bodies as separate. We don't think of the body as being whole, right? As holistic, in a holistic sense. We're taught that to look at things very technical and logical, and I totally get it, right? That's how I was taught as well. But here's the thing. When you understand the body, when you understand healing, you know that it's a lot deeper than just, I just developed fibroids out of the blue. That's not true. And even if your family members do have fibroids, because family members tend to follow the same habits, right? Similar traumas, and they deal with their emotions in similar ways, right? This is what is making it seem like other members of your family have it. This is what making it seem like it's genetic, right? When it's not necessarily that it's genetic, right? It's deeper than that. So hopefully you guys are following me. If you guys have any questions on that, let me know. But it's deeper than just being genetic. It's deeper than, looking for a treatment option. Because here's the thing. This is why women continuously develop fibroids over and over again. After myomectomy, after UFE, right? You have to train your mindset to always get to the root cause of the problem. Even if you're having a headache, okay? Why is that headache occurring? Instead of trying to suppress it, get rid of it, what's going on in the body? We have to train ourselves to want to heal. I did a TikTok video a while ago that's still getting traction. I don't know why, but about yeast infections and BV, and when getting to the root cause of the problem, right? Cleaning your internal environment. And women were like just freaking out, like, oh, just use boric acid, which I'm totally against, right? Instead of talking about changing your diet, instead of talking about, getting rid of the sugar in your diet, like the processed sugar, like I understand that work is hard for us to do, but it's very necessary, right? For us to examine our habits and understand, are our habits contributing to our healing, or are they, harming our bodies, our everyday habits? This is really important, right? It could be even down to what thoughts we're thinking, the way we deal with our emotions, right? When you deal with your emotions, are you regulating your nervous system, right? Are you managing your stress levels correctly, or are you eating your stress? Are you just constantly having anxiety over things that, in your life, instead of actually regulating yourself? It's self-soothing, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, you guys have any questions, please let me know. But yes, so that is one thing. Stop just looking for treatment options and get to the root cause, right? Before you make a decision on what to do, okay? Next, I want to talk about thinking that they're genetic, and I covered that a little bit, and just stopping right there. This is, when we talk about the fibroid conversation, it's just always genetic. And there's not much to be said. There's not much else to be said about it, right? It's genetic. My mom has it. My sister has it, right? And it's just people stop right there. They don't do further digging. They don't look at, okay, why did maybe me and my mom, maybe I subconsciously follow habits that my mom followed. For example, like if your mom, for example, doesn't have the best eating habits, right? Or she eats her feelings, right? You know, you watching that, you subconsciously doing that as well. Again, instead of actually dealing with those emotions, you storing it and just eating your feelings. Again, if your mom wasn't the healthiest person, maybe she overworked herself. She was more so in her masculine energy where she was doing, working, hustling, not really listening to her body and, you know, learning how to lean into her body, not learning how to, you know, listen to her intuition. If she was more so in that energy, right, and not in the feminine energy as far as just being, listening to her body, right? If that was your mom, more than likely you're going to take on her traits, right? That's one thing, right? So that's one thing you want to look at as well. When you just don't stop at just things are genetic and just, you know, wash your hands and that's it, right? No, it's not. And just because things look like they run in families does not mean you have to get them if you do the work in order to change your habits, right? It's just like high blood pressure. Yes, everybody in your family can have high blood pressure. You don't have to get high blood pressure, right? If you're, you know, watching your salt intake, watching your stress levels, right? Getting down to healthy weights, you know, managing your stress, managing your emotions, right? Doing breath work. You're not going to get high blood pressure, right? Your blood pressure is going to be, you know, you're gonna have a good reading, right, when it comes to that. So don't think that you have to suffer from things just because people in your family do, okay? And sometimes you could be the one to break that generational curse, okay? So we have to do better. Instead of making these excuses, we got to do better, okay? So hopefully fibroids by default, like even studies have shown that it hasn't been proven to be genetic. So that's one thing. That's why I hate the whole it's genetic conversation, because it has not even been proven to be genetic. Okay, so if the doctor is telling you that, they probably haven't done much research on fibroids, and most doctors don't. They just want to push surgery on you, whether it's a myomectomy, a hysterectomy, and you know, because they get incentives for that. But that's a whole nother conversation. Okay, now let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the watching and waiting technique. This is another thing that's common, right? So a woman has a fibroid. Maybe she's in her 20s, maybe she's kind of young, or maybe the fibroids are kind of small, right? It's a small fibroid, and they just noticed that she has fibroids, right? Maybe doing an, you know, ultrasound or something like that. And they're like, oh, okay, it's okay. You just don't worry about it. You know, we'll just watch and wait and see what happens, right? So she doesn't make any changes in her lifestyle, right? They don't give her a treatment plan, or as far as, you know, telling her to change her diet, her stress levels, or doing even an assessment of that to see why she developed them. They just say, okay, we'll just watch it. And then years later, maybe a couple years later, or even a year later, right? It grows bigger. She's having painful cycles. She's having heavy bleeding. She's anemic. She's getting blood transfusions. And it just gets worse. Like I don't know about you, but this is very common, right? It starts out as just a little fibroid. Oh, we'll just watch. You see, this is how they set you up for having surgery or hysterectomy later on. But this is how they set you up, right? They make it seem like it's not a big deal. We'll just watch it, right? Until it gets to the point where it's getting in the way of your life. And when it gets to that point, you're ready for it. A lot of women are just ready to get it removed because they think that that's like, I'm tired of going through this pain and bleeding. I'm just ready to get this thing out of me, right? They're almost at a desperation point, right? At that point where they're desperate. So this is kind of how they get you, right? Here's the thing. When you develop fibroid, I don't care how small it is. I don't care if it's 1 centimeter, right? Okay, we have to start making changes. We have to start looking at our habits, looking at, it is a chance for you to stop and really examine, like, what are your daily habits, right? How are you living your life, right? Even from the point of, are you fulfilled in your career, in your relationships, even to that point, because fibroids develop from unfulfillment and suppressing it as well as trauma and all these other things, right? So it is a chance for you to really look within and do some inner work, connect with your body, connect with your womb, okay, and start making changes in your everyday habits, right? Are you what's going on with your hormones? Because if you have fibroids, that means that you do have imbalanced hormones, right? So are you giving your body enough nutrients, right? Are you giving your body enough hydration? Are you paying attention to your body when it's showing you symptoms, right? Are you leaning in to really know what your body truly needs? How connected are you to your intuition as a woman? Do you have any creative outlets, right? What do you do for fun? Do you do anything for fun? Or are you just living your life that's in autopilot, right? So it's calling to you to examine your habits, your life, and make some changes to change your lifestyle. It should be a reality check, but unfortunately, it's not, because people don't understand what fibroids are and why they develop in the womb. Okay, so this is really important. Okay, so if you a lot of times when they develop, when you don't have the best habits, maybe you're not getting enough sleep, you're not hydrating your body enough, or maybe too much coffee, alcohol, dairy, you're doing all these things and ingesting all these things that are actually taken away from your health and not adding to your health, right? So it's time for you to change your mindset around how you look at your health, how you look at your habits. And a lot of us when we really examine our everyday habits, it's harming our health. And that's a huge problem, right? Even if you're not perfect, most of your habits should not be harming your health. Just take an assessment of what you do, what you eat, on an everyday basis, right? How much water you're drinking, how much are you sleeping, right? Are you exercising? How much movement are you getting? Your day to day. What does your day to day look like? And for most people, it's not anything, it's not anything that's adding to their health. Okay. So do not take it as instead of focusing on, I just want to get this thing out, right? How about we start shifting the focus to our everyday habits, right? Because this is how we start to shrink and dissolve these fibroids naturally, okay? So do not take it for granted, even if it's very small, right? Do not wait, for months and months and months and years to actually make changes. Please don't do that, right? Because fibroids grow. And they can grow quite big, right? In a short period of time. I've seen people have 3 centimeter fibroids grow to 9 centimeter fibroids in a year or even less, okay? Or they go from having no symptoms to having most of the fibroid symptoms, from horrible periods, heavy periods, back pain. They go from literally having no symptoms to having just fibroids literally get in the way of their everyday life, lower their quality of life. This is very common, okay? So hopefully that makes sense, right? So really take it seriously. If you have fibroids, you should be making changes. You should not just be sitting there. You should not be just not making any changes, right? Because you're making your health worse. And let me tell you something. When you have fibroids, you have something called estrogen dominance, right? This is, again, when you let this stuff go on and you don't actually do the work to rebalance your hormones, to restore health back into your body. This is how we increase our capacity for having things like breast cancer, uterine cancer. These things come from estrogen dominance, the same things that cause fibroids, right? So they cause worse issues in the body, okay? So make sure you guys are sharing this because people need to know this information, right? Share this with somebody that has fibroids, at least 5 people that has fibroids again, okay? So another thing is not getting to the root cause of the problem. And I talked about that a little bit in the beginning. That's what I help women do, right? Get to the root cause of the problem so we can heal the problem. You can't heal something if you're not able to get to the root cause of it, to what caused it, what created it in the body, right? If you're just thinking about treatments and not thinking about healing, that's a huge problem. So this is a very common for people just to think about, how can I get it out of me just to develop it again? There's so many people I know that's had these surgeries, and literally within months they have a fibroid again. They start having the symptoms again, right? And they find out they develop another fibroid. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to go through this pain? And you're talking to somebody that went through the surgery and got fibroids a few months after, right? It's not worth it to go through the pain of having surgery. So hopefully that makes sense, right? So if you're dealing with, if you have fibroids, right? Do not just think about, okay, what can I do to get rid of it? No, I'm not saying that you have to go through pain, because when it comes to fibroids, and fibroid symptoms, your fibroid symptoms can decrease within a month or even less, depending, right, on what regimen you're doing. But here's the thing, right? You can't just look for a treatment and not get to the root cause of the problem, right? Because you're just going to develop the problem again, or you may develop another issue that's related to estrogen dominance, right? There's people that have got surgery for fibroids and then develop endometriosis. This is common. I had a client like this. Or develop cysts after having surgery. It could be fibroids, it could be something else, right? So nobody wants to deal with that, right? Get to the root cause of the problem and do the work. I know it's hard. As somebody that's done it and helped women through it, it is not easy, but it's life-changing and it's worth it. And when you are in the journey, the way your mind shifts, right? The way the unlearning that you're doing from years of, people learning the wrong ways to look at your health and learning the wrong ways to look at food as something that nourishes you instead of looking at food as just there to, for me to eat when I'm craving, whatever I'm craving, right? Which is the wrong way, right? So this is why we suffer from so many health issues. This is why Black women literally are suffering. Not just Black women, women all over as a collective, but especially Black women. Like when it comes to our health, we have totally dropped the ball. Like we're winning in every area of life except for our health, and that's sad, okay? So another thing I want to say is a fibroid don't is relying on a myomectomy or UFE. This one is controversial for me to say, but you guys know I'm very, I don't care about things being controversial. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? You're talking about a procedure where you're cutting into your uterus, right? That creates, that's not, scar tissue, because that, a lot of times it does create scar tissue when you cut into the uterus, right? And that could also prevent, cause issues, but that's a whole other topic, right? Cutting to the uterus to get rid of, to take this fibroid out, right? But what are you doing to prevent it from coming back? For most women, it's nothing, right? And a lot of times when we cut into the uterus, it just something about that surgery makes it easier for fibroids to redevelop, okay? So you're just aggravating, because here's the thing, right? When you have fibroids, you have a lymphatic system that's not working at its fullest capacity. And your lymphatic system is very important. It's like literally the sewage system in your body, like that takes the toxins out. So you have a lymphatic system that's with blocked lymph nodes and all this other things, right? Because we have lymph nodes around the reproductive organs that's supposed to be clearing out the toxins. So we have some of the filters that are blocked, right? So here's the thing when it comes to that, right? So when you have surgery, you're cutting into your lymphatic system. You're traumatizing that lymphatic. You're cutting into your lymph vessels and traumatizing your lymphatic system, right? So it's like you're making the situation in a way worse, okay? And you're talking about somebody who's had it, who deeply regrets it, right? And so many women have the surgery, have regretted it as well. And you may hear women say, "Oh, I don't have the bleeding problem anymore," or anything like that. But how long does that last? How long does that last afterwards, right? Talk to them a year later or even less, okay? So, be very, relying on a myomectomy to save you from fibroids is the wrong approach. Same thing with UFE, which in my opinion is even more risky, but that's a whole other topic. Same thing with UFE, right? Again, does not get to the root cause of the problem. Whenever something does not get to the root cause, you should be skeptical of it, right? You should be skeptical of something that does not get to the root cause of the problem, right? Because if I can develop this problem again, what's the point of me going through this? And I'm getting cut open. This is a serious surgery, right? So we just do it so freely and don't even think about it. And that is scary, okay? There's people that literally have gone in for myomectomies and come out with hysterectomies due to them bleeding too much. And you sign a paper, right, that says they can do that if they feel, the doctor feels like they're doing that, you're bleeding too much, they can just take your whole uterus out, right? I know one of my cousins, her husband is actually representing somebody in court right now that went through that. So it's a lot, that happens more than you think, okay? And the doctor sees fit, okay? So another thing, so be very careful. If your doctor can't tell you why these things develop in the body, why are they so like ready to coerce you into having a surgery when they can't even tell you what caused these things to develop? So be very wary of that, okay? Do your research. I recommend not having it because, again, you're going through major surgery for what, right? When you're not getting to the root cause of the problem, you more than likely will develop this again. It doesn't make any sense, okay? So another thing is, when you don't understand fibroid triggers, what triggers fibroids, right? That's a huge problem, because that means you could be going in your everyday life, like going through your everyday life, doing things to trigger fibroid growth, which most women are, right? Even from the coffee you're drinking, to the alcohol you're drinking, right? To the sodas, to the sugars. You could be not getting sleep, you know, just so many things, right? There's so many things. And I want to do a video of fibroid triggers probably soon. But you're doing things every day. A lot of women are doing things to trigger that fibroid growth, right? I think everybody by now should know that perms, you know, can cause fibroids, because they have, you know, literally endocrine disruptors in them, right? They contribute to fibroid growth. There's been so many women that have literally had lawsuits against these perm companies. So hopefully nobody is getting that anymore. And also, let's not even talk about birth control, okay? So there's so many things that women are doing that's contributing to the growth of these fibroids every single day, that's worsening. You know, I get so many messages of women that's like, I'm suffering, I'm in pain, you know, I've been suffering. They don't realize that their habits are causing them to suffer even more, right? Because it doesn't take long for when you start changing your habits, right? Changing your lifestyle and diet, it doesn't take long for you to see relief in your cycles. It doesn't. I've had people see relief within literally have gotten the 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course, and 2 weeks later their period comes and they feel so much better. So I've literally got people to see relief within sometimes even days, like, you know. So you don't have to suffer for, you know, for months and years. You don't, right? You don't. I wish I knew now what I knew back then, and I wish somebody was on the internet that could tell me this information, right? This was like 10 years ago, so people weren't really, you know, saying much about this besides Dr. Sadie, right? But very, very, very important, right? That you understand that what triggers fibroid growth, right? You holding on to anger, triggering fibroid growth, holding on, like unforgiveness even, or living a life that's unfulfilling to you, right? Right? Where do you think fibroids come? Again, they're a spiritual representation of like that unfulfillment. You as a woman not living in your true purpose. The body keeps score, right? So you can suppress all you want to, but the body keeps score. So again, so when you're not living in your true purpose, a lot of times when we're not living in our true purpose, we're living life on autopilot. Do you think that woman is going to have the healthiest habits? Like, you know, no, because she's suppressing, you know, a lot of stuff. She doesn't, you know, she's just, like I said, living life on autopilot. She's more than likely a people pleaser, you know, more than likely for women that are going through that, right? And she's not really that woman is not taking care of herself, right? And I know that because that used to be me, right? So you need to, I mean, it's a lot of self-work. Sometimes it takes us really a long time to uncover this, right? But understand, like, you know, the life that you're choosing to live now, who is it for? Is it for you, or is it for other people, or is it for your family? Who's it for? Just ask yourself that. You know, that may take us some time to really process, because we've been projected on since we were born, right? We've been projected on by other people. So a lot of people don't even really know who they are. And that's why things like, you know, what they call it, midlife crisis are so common, right? Because it's like you've been living a life that's not even yours, right? And people think that they're going crazy. They're not going crazy. They're realizing that they've been living the last 40, 45 years somebody else's life, not theirs. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay? So if you don't understand fibroid triggers, this will lead to you growing more fibroids, you growing bigger fibroids, you getting worse symptoms, right? This is what it's going to lead to, you know, fibroid reoccurrence. If you have, let's say, had the surgery, it will lead to that. So you have to know the triggers of fibroids, okay? So another thing is you're normalizing the symptoms associated with fibroids. Ooh, this one is a big one. And when I say normalizing, I mean like you normalize having period pain, having cramps. This is a lot of people think cramps are normal. In 2023, about to be 2024, you should not think that cramps are normal. It's a hormonal imbalance, right? Toxins in the body. They're not normal, okay? I want to scream that to people. That, like, you need to know that it's not normal. Cramps are normal. Breast tenderness isn't normal, right? Heavy cycles isn't normal. Having cycles, long cycles, longer than 4 or 5 days, 4 days is fine. But like past that is just, it's not normal. Because once you do the work to restore your hormonal balance, you're not gonna experience that. Your periods are gonna shorten, get lighter, and get much more manageable. Okay. So stop thinking that these things that are symptoms of fibroids, symptoms of hormonal imbalance, symptoms of estrogen dominance, which is what we have when we have fibroids. Stop thinking that they're normal, because they're not, right? When we normalize these things, when we normalize sickness, again, we don't do the work to actually get well and to get healing. Okay, so this is very important. So know that, okay, fibroids, like if you have fibroids, again, this is a calling for you to nurture your body, to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself, because that means you have not been taking care of yourself. You have not been, taking care of yourself on a spiritual level or a physical level, right? So know that this is a calling for you to do maybe emotional work, to releasing things that you've been holding on to, whether it's childhood wounds, whether it's sexual trauma, whether it's, exes that's done you horrible, right? That's done you bad. Whether it's that, you got to start with like processing this stuff and releasing it, okay? And you're talking to somebody that's been through lots and lots of trauma, right? We cannot hold that in our wombs, right? And make ourselves suffer. We just can't, right? It'll drive us crazy. So, and also, we'll be in a lot of pain. And this is how even things people don't understand, like even cancer and things, but it goes deep. But anyway, so for women that are suffering, if you're suffering from fibroids, first of all, if you have a question, please feel free to ask. And if you're suffering with fibroids, if you're suffering from cysts, if you're suffering from endometriosis or any womb health, issue, I do have my Black Friday offers available until midnight. One of them is my 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course, which is the most popular one. Okay, and also the Detoxify Your Womb self-study course, right? Which is the self-study course of the Detoxify Your Womb program, right? So this is also available until midnight. The self-study course, the Detoxify Your Womb self-study course, I don't always sell that. That is literally not going to be available for purchase anymore after tonight. But the 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course is $111 off before midnight, okay? So a lot of women have been taking advantage of that, and I'm so happy to see that. And I've been getting a lot of good reviews and testimonials from, these courses, so I'm excited. Like, I put courses out because I cannot work with everybody, right? So I have my Detoxify Your Womb program for women that I work with closely, but I still put out courses that have trainings that, that you can, go at your own pace and do on your own. So they've been getting a lot of amazing reviews, and I'm so excited. Like, from people see their stomach after going through fibroids, right? There's a lot of times women, their stomach is like they have extended belly due to the fibroid. I've seen a lot of women say their stomach has drastically gone down within like 2 weeks of using the 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids course. Their stomach, like their bleeding, like they got their period and their bleeding was so much less, and the periods was more manageable. I've heard amazing testimonials. I've heard literally somebody that got my Restore Your Womb course said that she was used to bleeding like sometimes 2 weeks, like during her cycle. And she said the third day that she recorded a video of that, of her testimonial. The third day that she was using the course and following the guidelines of the course, she stopped bleeding. She was so shocked because she was just bleed. So it's like my courses and my programs have yielded tremendous results, like from fibroids dissolving to shrinkage. So I'm really excited. Like, I've got amazing reviews in 2023. So this has been such a blessed year, and we've reached a lot of people, even with having a small following. Like, I'm not really an Instagram person. Instagram is not my main platform. It's more so Facebook and TikTok, but I still come on here because I know that people still follow me on here. But it's been amazing so far. So I'm really happy and blessed to really see this work, really affect so many women. And we're adding, I don't know if you guys saw the certificate, okay, of me now being an embodied womb facilitator, so helping women release trauma in the womb. I have a certification for that now, y'all. So not only just the physicality of us taking care, getting rid of these womb health symptoms, also doing the spiritual work as well, as far as releasing, doing meditations, womb healing meditations. I've been introducing that to my clients, and so far, oh my gosh, they've been amazing. So we're adding that to the Detoxify Your Womb program. And yeah, so I say this, listen, Detoxify Your Womb program will be going up, okay? I'll give it about a month, January 1st. So if you've been eyeing that program, get in it now. But in the meantime, check out these Black Friday offers. They are expire at midnight tonight in like 2.5 hours. Check them out. Link is in my bio. The 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course. Also, my Detoxify Your Womb self-study course that will not be available after midnight to purchase, okay? So check these out. Ladies, if you have fibroids, it's time for you to start doing the work to get rid of these, to dissolve these fibroids, okay? To shrink them and eventually dissolve them, right? We do not want to be holding on to these barriers in our womb, these tumors in our womb for years and years and years and months and months and months and suffering with them. It's not worth it, right? It's just not worth it. So if you're watching this and you have a best friend who's suffering with fibroids, a sister, because fibroids are so common that we all know somebody that's suffering with them, right? Even if you're not suffering with them, share this live with them. Share this live with them, and be sure to check out the Black Friday offers while they're available. Make sure that you are on our email list as well, because you get a free training when you join the email list that's going to go more in depth about fibroids and how they come about in the body and estrogen dominance, which is really important for you to know. You as a woman should know how your body works, how your hormones work, especially your sex hormones, right? A lot of women are completely clueless, like that they're exhibiting low progesterone and why they're exhibiting low progesterone. So very important for you to know this, okay? So, like I said, I can talk about this forever because I love this healing work. I love doing this work and helping women, again, get to the root cause of their fibroids and shrink and dissolve it, okay? So if you're interested in learning more, and you should be if you are dealing with fibroids, be sure to join my email list and check out my Black Friday offers, my 12 steps on how to shrink your fibroids full bundle course, and again, my Detoxify Your Womb self-study course, okay? If nobody has any questions, I'm going to go now. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here on the live. Yeah, I don't know if I didn't see any comments, but I don't know. I didn't see any comments. But bye, ladies.